Good morning. It's September 9th, 2020, Wednesday, hump day. Oh, anyway, I'm just messing around. This is IndigPatriot News.
Yeah, if I have to, I would, but we're doing very well. We needed to spend more money up front because of the pandemic and the statements being made by Democrats, which were, again, disinformation. We've done.
So, what in particular is disinformation? Did you not in 2015 state that you did not like people that were captured? I know that the argument could be that you were insulting John McCain, but your statement encompassed prisoners of war and missing in action. And while we can state that it was just a political complaint about McCain, we move on to where you denigrate our generals and our admirals whenever they don't agree with you. You talk about how trash they are, how John Kelly wasn't ready for the reality of things. A man is a general. You're a businessman who's run your businesses into the ground, who's gotten chance after chance, and you're currently running our country into the ground. While we talk about our economy and things like that, the reality of it is that you're riding on the coattails of what happened in the previous administration.
A great job with COVID.
We've done a great job with COVID. So we don't have around 20% of the total deaths in the entire world. Do we have 20% of the population? We politicized the virus. We're like one of the only countries that has politicized the virus. If you're wearing a mask, you're a Democrat. If you're not wearing a mask, you're a Trumplican. It doesn't make any sense. And stating that we've done a great job with the virus is minimizing it, just like you've been doing the entire time, this entire year. Over, what are we at? 190,000 deaths, and it hasn't even been a year yet.
Great job with the China virus, a great job.
China virus.
Whether it's ventilators or whether it's vaccines, which you'll be seeing very soon, or therapeutics, we've done a great job. But the press was fake, and we have to spend a lot of money. No, if we did need, we don't, because we have much more money than we had last time going into the...
If we do need, but we don't, because we have much more money going into the last time. I have no clue what the hell you're talking about.
That's 2 months. I think double and triple. But if we need it anymore, I'd put it up personally, like I did in the primaries last time. In the 2016 primaries, I put up a lot of money. If I have to, I'll do it here. But we don't have to, because we have double and maybe even triple what we had a number of years ago, 4 years ago.
President, you spent $60 million in that primary. How much are you talking about putting into your campaign?
Whatever it takes, we have to win. This is the most important election in the history of our country.
So I agree with Donald Trump. This is the most important election in the history of our country. That means that we have to get out there and vote. We saw how in 2016 Russia meddled with our elections. We saw the resultant division that's happened since then. Talk about how the economy is all you want. But I prefer to discuss how we as a people have been split apart. Our divisions are the widest that they've been in my lifetime, and I currently don't see how they're going to get any better with 4 more years. So please get out there and vote. Get your family to vote. Get your friends to vote. Help them register. Help them fill out those mail-in ballots if that's what you want to do. But we need to show up in force. We need to practice our jobs.
I do want to inform you that the entire Rochester Police Department command staff has announced their retirement. That includes the police chief, that includes Commander Deputy Chief Morbido. I believe that also Deputy Chief Simmons, and there may be a number of others that will decide to leave as well and retire.
This is in reference to the death of Daniel Prude. What ended up happening was he was called, law enforcement was called by his brother due to him having a mental issue. He was running around naked, causing disturbance, and his brother wanted to get him help. So, according to reports and video, police arrived on the scene. They ended up putting a spit hood over his head and pushing his face into the dirt in order to restrain him. They held his face down for over 2 minutes, which suffocated him. So this is what's being spoke on, and apparently the majority of their police force has indicated that they're going to retire. Do I know if any of this was set up ahead of time? Not yet, but this is the first time that I've seen a widespread law enforcement response to these types of incidents where people decided that they were going to quit. So next we'll watch a piece of Trump's campaign rally, I suppose, where he's going to talk trash about, well...
You know, when they started knocking down the monuments and statues a few months ago, right? I signed a very strong executive order. You want to knock them down, that's fine, but you go to jail for 10 years. It was amazing. It was amazing how that stopped. And then they said, well...
It was amazing how that stopped. So has it stopped? The fact of the matter is that incidents like these are designed to call attention to the issues that are happening. Okay, so attention was called to these issues. People don't just want to quote unquote break the law, and then when you also create draconian measures like 10 years for taking down a statue, obviously it's going to deter some people. That doesn't make you any better. That doesn't make you any right, and it doesn't make you on the proper side of history as you're defending a heritage of 5 years. 5 years is how long the Confederacy lasted. 5 years. But the statues weren't even erected during the Confederacy. They were erected after the Confederacy during the Jim Crow era for symbols of oppression. Just like you enjoy.
We'll do it easily. We'll do it through the process because, you know, they don't want to spend 10 years. You know, they'd look at it, they'd say, not worth it. 10 years is too much. But the D.C. committee, did you see about that? They want to change the name of the Washington Monument. They want to get rid of the Lincoln Monument, Jefferson Monument. Now we're talking the big stuff. They finally hit the big time. Took them a while to get there, but I said that was going to happen. Don't worry about it. You don't have a thing to worry about. If our foreign adversaries were devising a scheme to cripple America, they could hardly do better than the Kamala Harris.
Okay. So if our foreign enemies were trying to disrupt America, what they would do is they would facilitate the election of a divisive individual who can't run their own businesses, who turns on anyone that disagrees, who foments politicizing of things like masks. Look in the background. You got the dude over there, no mask, mouth wide open, lady over here on the left with no mask on. I mean, it's...
Remember Kamala, she started at 15, she was supposed to win. Problem was she went from 15 to 14 to 12 to 10 to 7 to 4. It's like a free fall. You know why people don't like her? Nobody likes her. She could never...
I'll tell you what an insult to the country is. An insult to the country is a man that alienates our allies. An insult to the country is a man who says it is what it is in regard to the virus and its effect that it's had on our community. Okay? And I'm not talking about on a financial standpoint. We focus so much on money and we leave out community, we leave out lives. Okay? The issue at hand, in my opinion, is we are expendable as long as during that expense some profit is made. Okay? We want to talk about how how people don't like Kamala Harris. I would crawl across glass in order to elect Kamala over you. Kamala knows what our laws are. I'd love to see Kamala debate you. I'd love to see she and you sit down and fact check and discuss the issues. I would love to see it. The fact of the matter is that you run your mouth when you are in front of your sycophants, because they're going to cheer and they're going to jeer at all the bad things and at the right points. Okay, it's an echo chamber for you, so you're so confident. I'd like to see you sit down with a strong woman and have a real conversation. So last, we go to NDN Country today. It's IndigPatriot.com. So 87 wildfires are burning in the western United States, and they've consumed 2.7 million acres of land, with 1.7 million acres in California alone. Washington State has 318,000 acres burned. Colorado has 282,000. Montana, 110,000. And Oregon, 55,000 acres have burned. That's a lot. Several towns near the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs have been evacuated, or they've been told that they need to evacuate on a moment's notice. If there's a fund that can help these people out, please link it in the bottom of our comments there, and we'll share it and see what we can do. So after months of having the highest per capita rate of COVID-19 infections in the United States, Navajo Nation health officials said Tuesday, which was yesterday, that they reported no new confirmed cases of coronavirus, but had 4 additional deaths. That puts them at 9,903 infected, with 527 known deaths. In total, they've had 97,644 people tested, and 7,157 have recovered. That's good to hear for the Navajo Nation. So, as they should, Congress will launch an investigation into sexual assault, disappearances, deaths, and the military leadership response at Fort Hood after 28 soldiers. That's 28 soldiers, including 2 Navajo men stationed at the U.S. Army base in Texas, died this year. That's this year alone. Not to mention how we had the Fort Hood shooter a few years back who went nuts and started killing people. I don't want to say went nuts. He had his motivations. Navajo Citizen Army Specialist Miguel Diazzi is among the Fort Hood soldiers who have died, the nation said in a statement Tuesday. They provided the first details that a second man has died, a second Navajo man has died at the troubled installation. That's Private Corlton L. Chi, who's 25. He died September 2nd after collapsing following physical training exercises on August the 28th. The Army officials announced his death this past Friday. Neither Fort Hood officials nor the Texas Department of Safety could be reached Tuesday for comment. 2 panels from the Committee on Oversight and Reform and Committee of Armed Services will jointly investigate to determine if recent deaths may be symptomatic of underlying leadership, discipline, and moral deficiencies throughout the chain of command. I look forward to seeing what they come out with. So the Sturgis motorcycle rally is linked to more than 250,000 COVID-19 cases across the country, according to 2 studies. Researchers said that the super spreaded event created over $12 billion in public health costs. A Minnesota man who attended the event died last week. So the studies by the German-based IZA Institute of Labor Economics and by San Diego State University came up with the same numbers for cases and associated costs. But of course, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem last week told USA Today the San Diego study was fiction and criticized the journalists who reported on it. She if Trump's reelected in 2020 here, I don't see why Kristi Noem's not going to be trying to jump on his administration. The Pascua Yaqui tribe will soon break ground on reservation land southwest of Tucson for its first master plan community. Its housing department has been granted $19.5 million by the Arizona Department of Housing to develop phase 1 of the project. It'll include 50 single-family homes, and they'll be built on 40 vacant acres on the southern end of the reservation. Itam Pokoria Karim, I'm not sure if I said that correctly. Our desert homes will have 2, 3, and 4 bedroom models, and residents will be a mix of low and moderate income. So, in traditional public housing, everybody's the same. Low-income families without many two-parent households, said Keith Gregory, Director of Housing for the tribe. When children grow up among other people, they get to see the family where the father is the teacher at the University of Arizona, and it shows kids all the other things that are possible. Kids don't learn what they don't see. So nostalgia and a new logo may pull the Cleveland professional baseball team to take up a name from the city's past. The Spiders were the city's National League Baseball franchise from 1889 until 1899. The new logo shows a spider crawled around the block you see associated with the current team. That would be the Cleveland Indians. Michael McFarland, a designer and musician, came up with the spider image in 2016. The design has picked up steam in social media since the team announced it in July. It plans to change its name. McFarland said half the revenue from sales of spider merchandise will go to Lake Erie Native American Council and First Nations Development Institute. That's awesome. So that wraps up our news for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. If you have any suggestions, I would love to know what you'd like to see. I'd love to know your ideas on things that we can address as far as the growth of our channel. With your assistance, we could do something big, in my opinion. I really appreciate it. I'm at WIKWEKO on Twitter. IndigenousPatriot.com. I'm working on building up the website. I'll probably add these videos to them. I thank you for your patronage. Please remember to subscribe, share with people. Let's get the word out. Indigenous Patriot.